Live on the Walk for Change YouTube channel and Coffee Party USA Radio, COCW's CannaCorner with Candis Dyer.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? It's a great Monday, coronavirus lockdown in our house, but it's a good day. My name is Candis Dyer. I'm with Cannabis Open Carry Walks. We are brought to you live by Coffee Party USA Radio. I take liberty with my coffee and the Human Solution International. We represent the Walk for Change, and we will get our show started here shortly. We've got some great guests today. I know Mr. Joe Grumbine is supposed to be coming on and talking with us, and Jeff will be on, I believe, maybe. And we're going to open up our show today to all of you. Bobby, is there any way you might be able to put the number in the comments, or Becca? I know Becca, I think, running the show tonight. Thank you, Becca. And Bobby, he's always the man behind the curtain, helping everything run smoothly. We appreciate both of y'all. But yes, today we've got a good conversation. We are going to be talking about the Walk for Change and how we will go ahead and be continuing on, even though we are under the coronavirus rules right now. There's ways to do it without breaking rules, y'all, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that today with Joe. So let me think. I know that we had a couple 420 trains scheduled. They are not going to be happening. We've got one scheduled for April in Arlington next to Raising Cane's, and we will stay tuned on that to see what we're allowed to do and what we're not. As far as April goes, they're saying that this is going to be I've heard weeks, I've heard months, so we don't really know. We're just kind of keeping our ear to the ground and finding out what's going on. We want to go ahead and make sure that we are safe as possible during this time. We don't want to give any of our friends or loved ones a virus like this. If it does happen, though, that's just how it is. I don't want to live my life in fear for sure, but I definitely will take precautions as far as washing my hands and trying to stay 6 feet and try to stay in the house, y'all, unless you got to go grocery shopping or you got to go to work. Just things like that. We can all take little precautions to protect ourselves. So let me think. We've got the Walk for Change. Y'all go to www.walk4change.us. We are going to be doing a newsletter here soon, so stay tuned for that. That's going to let y'all know about all the things we've got going on with the walk and where the walks will be and all that good stuff. So y'all stay tuned on that. Also, I wanted to let y'all know we've got our new YouTube channel, which is actually, I believe, where this is being broadcasted live from right now. If y'all can be amazing, and we are trying to get it up to 100 subscribers. I believe the last I checked, it was like 76. So y'all go check out. I'll try to put that link in the comments on Cannabis Open Carry Walks page here shortly. Go to that link, subscribe, share, pass it on to your friends. All our interviews and stuff for Walk for Change will be either posted or done from there, so y'all know where to find out about everything going on. So yes, please pass that along. Like I said, there's a newsletter coming out shortly, and as soon as we get the information for that, I would love for y'all to pass that on as well. And I'm not sure how, I guess you subscribe to the newsletter is how it's going to be. There's going to be a link, and we're making it. Becca's rocks on that. Bobby, one of them are going to be doing it. As soon as we get that link going on, we're going to pass that around to y'all. This, like I said, the newsletter is going to let you know about all things Walk for Change. So that will be basically your main line to everything that we're doing. So you definitely want to sign up for that. Okay, Bobby, I'm not sure. I can't see the thing. Is Joe in yet? Yes, there's Joe. Hey, Joe, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
There we are.
Testing. Yay. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing great. Obeying the rules, trying to stay home, trying to,
I'm not too good at that, but
right? That's why I said trying.
as I go, best as I can.
Right. Yes, this virus, it's something to be cautious about. But like I said, I'm not going to live my life in fear. Do the best we can to make the precautions. But I wanted to talk to people today about, especially the walk for change. I know a lot of people have been asking, are y'all still going to be doing the walk? What's going on with that? And I know we had our meeting the other day, and you want to tell people what you told us as far as the walk goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, the Walk for Change is bigger than any specific event that is happening. It's bigger than a bunch of people going from here to there. It's bigger than a big rally and a concert when we get to this place or that place. The Walk for Change is happening here and here. And this is the thing that people need to realize, that this isn't going to go away. It's not going to get smaller. What it is it's going to make us better, because we're going to have to navigate some choppy waters that we didn't see coming.
Right.
But that's okay. The obstacles kind of guide our course. And, if we just did the thing that we always did, we'd get where we always go, which isn't where we want to be. And so, these hiccups, as I call them, are just causing us to be better and smarter and prioritize better. I think one of the things, in some ways, I'm always an optimist. Like, I'm a crazy optimist. Like, you give me the worst sack of shit and I'll come up with a way to grow some good mushrooms in it or something. Because, that's the one thing about life, is it's always throwing you a curveball. There's an old, I don't know if it's a Hindu saying, it's an old saying that says, behind the mountaintop is another mountaintop. And, that's how life is. Life doesn't just like stop and say, okay, I guess you won.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you're getting good. Oh, yeah, watch this one. Bam. And it keeps trying to knock you back. And eventually you slow down a little bit. And eventually you get calmer, and eventually you get a little wiser. And eventually you build a team that's capable of doing anything. And that's what we're doing right now. So, we're having to rethink some things as to how it's going to happen. And part of what our success is going to be is being flexible,
Right.
being willing to do what it takes. We have this plan that says, well, we're going to launch from this point, we're going to walk this route, and we're going to stop here and here and here and here. And we're going to have this event over here, and we're going to have all these people. And when we get over here, that's going to happen. Well, okay. So what happens if something changes? Okay, well, then we change it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, what's the walk? What is the walk for? The walk isn't that we put our feet down a certain trail. The walk is that we say out loud and with passion and with heartfelt exuberance, I want to see these changes, and I'm willing to take out my feet and walk across this place to see it happen. And I'm willing to talk to people and get to know people and spend time with them. And it doesn't frankly matter if I'm sitting in the same room with you and I can give you a physical hug, or if we're sitting here, 1,200 miles apart with a video screen between us.
Exactly.
You and I have never met each other in person, and yet we work together like brother and sister, like two people that have just known each other forever, and with that kind of a purpose. So what's keeping us? And
right.
Anything. So what we're doing is we're getting smarter, and tomorrow morning, actually, we're going to be sending out our first Walk for Change newsletter. Now, the thing that's really cool about the newsletter is that it's going to be the pulse of the Walk for Change. It's going to be your finger on that pulse, and you're going to be able to see through that newsletter what's happening, where we're going, what's changing, what did we learn, what have we done, where are we going, who's coming aboard, you know, what did we just get, what kind of a sponsor just came in, you know, all of these things that are happening day to day, minute to minute sometimes, they're going to be addressed through a series of newsletters. And this is kind of cool because if you're part of this, you'll know it. And it's going to give you opportunities, you know, the newsletters, just like you get them in your email, you know, you get every day, we get companies that we work with send us newsletters, and projects that we're part of send us newsletters. And to the ones that we care about, we can't wait to see them because there's updates. It's just like getting a newspaper or a magazine, right? It tells you new stuff. You want to know these things. So the ones that are pesky annoyances, you put them in the spam box. Well, this isn't something we're going to be blanketing a community. We're giving you an opportunity to come in and be part of it. And through this, as the world is changing and we're coming up with new ways, one of the problems that we have, as you've noticed from the very beginning, people change, people's abilities change, interests, financial abilities, everything changes all the time. When we first got started with this, we had a couple of people that were just like going to do this with no plan. And then a bunch of us got together and decided, well, let's make a plan. And so we started planning and working together. And from that time, some people have come in and some people have gone, and some people have gotten more focused and some people need a little more focus. But meanwhile, we're still moving forward with this plan. And that's what this newsletter is all about. So on the walkforchange.us website, there is, I think anytime you pop into that, there's like a little pop-up says you want to join the newsletter.
Awesome.
So that's the simplest way to join it. We're learning as we're going. So I'm hoping that all of our social media feeds, everything, once we get this first edition out, which is more or less an intro, and there's going to be a couple of little more things to it than we talked about yesterday, but not much. But basically, it's just going to be letting y'all know, hey, here we are. This is the newsletter. This is that thing that we were talking about. And stay tuned, because maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, there might be 3 of them a week come at you, or there may be 1. I mean, it just depends on what's happening as we're going along.
Right.
I'm going to be meeting with some people tonight. Actually, they're on their way to my house. Charles
Vargas,
the Apache Nation.
Yeah.
And the guy with the veterans. They're both, I think, coming over right now.
Awesome.
And,
tell them I said hi.
Yeah, I will. Absolutely. So, and it's possible if they happen to get here when your show's still on, maybe I'll pop back in and that way they can say hi.
Awesome.
Charles is supposed to be co-hosting my show with me on Wednesdays. So we're working together, you know, and that all came out of the Walk for Change. It all came out of, you know, you had connected us, and then we talked once, and then it took us a while, and next thing you know, we went out and saw the place, and that may be, as of right now, it looks like it's going to be the place of our opening ceremony when
Awesome.
we leave from the ocean, and this will be the first place we stop to have kind of a formal opening ceremony. So physically speaking, you know, just say, take this to the worst case scenario. Say that this turns out to be the friggin' Black Plague, which it's not, and it won't. Okay. But just say that it was, and it was something that we really needed to really worry about being near each other. We would do this thing in a way that would allow us to pass. We're creating a staff that's going to be like the lead point on this thing, and it's going to be a big relay race. And so at the end of the day, whether we have 25 people walking together, 1,000 people walking together, or one person walking 10 feet apart,
right,
it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. And so that's what we have to realize, is that however this needs to play out, it's quite possible that, you know, there's going to be a lot of people coming together for brief periods just so that they can be a part of it.
Right.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the thing with the Walk for Change, just remember, the world is all screwed up. It's the world, right? We live in a physical world that's got all kinds of problems to it. And, you know, here in America, we think we have problems that aren't really problems. You know, you go into other places in the world and you look at real problems, you look at real poverty, and you look at real
Exactly.
issues that don't have solutions. Like here in America, our problem is we got all this stuff and people are stealing it, or we got all this stuff, but we can't seem to get this person to talk to that person. You go to that country over there, just right next door to us, and they don't have stuff.
Right.
They just don't have it. And if they don't have it, shit just spreads. And so, you know, we got to remember that as much as, you know, we have our personal problems and our grief, that the world's got some real issues that need to change. And imagine this, and this is kind of where I try to come from, a solution. Imagine us, one of the richest countries in the whole world. What if we had our shit together? Like, what if we actually worked together and cared and lived the way we could, and lived in harmony with the world, and wasn't busy, you know, stomping on each other and raping the world, the earth, and you know, doing all these crazy things that we do? What if we actually took all this capability and brought it to the best place it could be? Imagine what this world could be like.
Right.
Well, why not? I can't think of a reason. So
I can't either. Yes, we definitely, it needs to change. We need to get together and we need to do it. That's why I so love this idea of getting everybody together and fighting for what we believe. Because like you were saying, you know, that it's the pandemic we're dealing with right now is horrible. You know, it's a bad thing, but we deal with pandemics every day, like you were talking about.
yeah,
we've got homelessness, we've got, nobody cares about any of that, like you were saying, you know.
exactly.
And yes, we gotta start coming together and actually fighting like we are now for this freaking virus and stuff, for everything that's going on in the world. We've got to change our focus.
Well, I looked briefly yesterday just to get some figures, and I don't have them sitting in front of me, but there was over 100,000 people that died of drug overdoses last year. Over 100,000 people died, not just got sick, went to the hospital, but died. And that was as preventable of a death as could ever be. And nobody talked about it as a pandemic. And there's nowhere near that that's died of this coronavirus.
Exactly.
I don't even think there's that many people that have had it, much less died from it. And yet we don't talk about it. How many homeless people die every year? Nobody will ever know. You know why? Because they're homeless.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to think about that. And then who's the most at risk? You know what the biggest cause of death is, like by way far, is heart disease. Heart disease is the most preventable, the friggin' most preventable way of dying that you could have, just by teaching people and making good food available and making things like, nobody's talking about this as being a pandemic.
Right.
Yet like 100 to 1 people die of heart disease over everything else, you know, and again, the world isn't freaking out over that. And so I just, and I'm not in any way diminishing the seriousness of this COVID-19. I don't diminish that in any way. But what I think that we should do is remember these other things that are still happening.
Yeah.
Right along the way with this other thing that's happening. What about depression? You know, people that suffer from you know, all of these problems that humanity can fix. Like this simplest thing. What if we took some time right now, that since we're all supposed to be confined to our homes, what if we decided to do something nice for somebody? Just like, I don't know, maybe somebody that's in prison for pot.
Right.
Like, what if we were to go and find information about somebody who is locked up right now and send them a card, send them a letter? They might not get it for a day or a week or a month. Who cares? One day they will. And all of a sudden, you know, you will have done that. And here's the kicker. There's a thing that is like only a few of us seem to know, but it's like the secret. It's like the other secret, right? You know, there used to be this book, The Secret, and everybody was like doing this whole thing, right? Well, I'll tell you what the real secret is, or what a secret is. When you help somebody else out, it is like the most amazing thing. It like rejuvenates you. It heals you. You know, they say laughter is the best medicine. I agree. It's really good medicine. But you know what else is really good medicine? helping out your brother, just
Amen.
doing something kind, just be nice. And I can't help but wonder if we were to take this as maybe I don't know, an opportunity to practice, maybe loving our own families a little better. Who do you get the
Yes.
most fights with?
It starts at home. It really does. We gotta we gotta take care of our home. We can't, if our home and our family life is sucking, then it's gonna show in our faces out there in the world. You're not gonna be able to get anything done out there if you can't even take care of your home and your family here.
Exactly. And it's a funny thing. The world, human beings are interesting creatures. And you can learn, like, there's parallels all along the universe. And just like muscles, like if you see somebody like Theodore Roosevelt, when he was a kid, he was weak. He had asthma, and he was a very weak child. And his father one day told him, you know what, son, we're going to fix this. We're going to make you strong. And his father built him a gym, and Theodore Roosevelt was a headstrong kid. Like, he had the will of an ox. Like, he was like, when he put his mind to something, he's like, to hell with it. Well, what happened? You think about Theodore Roosevelt as the president. He was this big, strong, robust, barrel-chested dude, right? You know why? Because he practiced, and he went out there and just did it. And he did it over and over and over again, and he overcame that problem. And he
Right.
instead of being weak and couldn't breathe, he became strong and a leader. Well, guess what? We do the same thing with everything. We practice our habits. We practice being kind. We practice being loving. We practice being thoughtful. We practice, whatever it is, or we practice being an asshole. Whatever it is we do, you get better at it, right? I mean,
Right.
Public speaking. People are afraid, oh, I can't get out there and talk. Well, just try. Because if you do, what if you helped somebody? What if you connected with somebody? It's not like, oh, I've got to be this guy in the limelight. It's like, what if you helped somebody that wouldn't have known you because you were too busy being shy or whatever?
Right. And that's crazy, because that's exactly where I was a couple years ago. I've never got on live. I don't go out and talk to crowds. I try to keep my head down and look at the ground when I'm in public. Like, don't look at me, And I had to pretty much force myself to do it. And like you said, you just keep doing it, and eventually it'll become second nature. I don't get near as nervous as I used to before starting. I still get nervous, but
That's okay.
not as bad as I normally would.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's being nervous is one thing. Being froze up by it's another.
Right.
That's
right.
the difference. Like, I get nervous before I do something too, and I just kind of laugh at myself. I'm like, really? You sat there and been body cavity searched by cops in jail before, and you're gonna worry about what people think about you? Really? Come on.
Right.
Just laugh and you say, yeah, this is nothing. I've had to do some horrible, difficult things in my life, and when you can compare that to this, it's just like it's a joke,
Right. It is.
You've given birth to a kid before, so
right.
like, whatever,
The biggest one in the hospital at the time. He was almost 10 pounds.
There you go.
My son. So yeah, he's a big boy.
A difficult thing, and you go back and you start thinking about a real difficult thing, and you're like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah, definitely. And it makes you stronger. And I really do believe that pretty much everything I've had my hand in the past, I can look at it now and be like, oh, that's why I did that. Like, I needed to learn that for this. And I needed, it all just falls together, everything that I've done. And it's so crazy.
Well, I think that one of the things, we talked about being told to be socially distant. And I think that's a terrible term, because socially distant kind of implies like we don't talk to each other.
Right.
I think that the truth is, what they want us to be is physically distant. Like, don't be mosh pitting together,
Right.
Don't be standing all together in a crowd. But that doesn't have anything to do with being socially distant. And I think that it's important that now more than ever, when we're being told to isolate ourselves, that we start connecting more.
Yes.
Maybe it's a time to use these social networking. So, like, I hate Facebook as much as like it's everywhere and everybody does it. And it's like, I just like all the drama and grief and the headaches and the, oh, poor me, look what happened. I'm like, oh God, really? And yet it's a tool. It's a tool that if we were to actually either not care about that crap or care about other stuff, either one or a combination of the both, we could share. We could have a social connection. I mean, it's a social network. That's the whole point of it. It is
Right.
And I think that what we're doing, conversations like this, and we're going to be opening up some meetings. We're going to start having some human solution meetings that we're going to invite people to, and we can have 100 people on one of these little Zoom calls, and we're going to figure out how to do that and start talking together about, well, what do we want?
Right.
When we
Brainstorming live.
belongs, we want justice. And when do we want it? We want it now. Well, what does that look like?
What does that mean? How do we get there? Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I think that, this is a model, and having a conversation this way, as much as, I prefer to be in the same room with people, but this is at least the closest thing we can get. We can at least look at each other when we're talking.
Right. Yes, I love it. It brings a lot of people together, especially like you said, you work with people daily and you never met them. Like I would have never met you if it wasn't for social media or Becca or any of my cannabis family, anybody with COCW. I mean, it's a great tool. Back in the day, we would have never known about each other if it wasn't for this. We would have never been able to meet. We would have never been able to start putting our heads together about how to change.
Woodstock.
Yes, sir, Bobby. What did he say?
I'm not sure.
I said Woodstock.
Woodstock.
He has like Tourette's sometimes. He just
I know, right?
out there out of nowhere. Well, I think that this is an opportunity for us to be smart and to, this is one of those things that like social networking can totally undo us, or it can bring us all together. And I think that, like I was saying yesterday, it's like, I know that the bigger we get as a group, the more likely that one chaos bomb is going to want to go off. But if we get enough people together that are seasoned and know these chaos bombs happen, and put a little body armor on and just say, well, sometimes they go off and we keep walking, and I think that hopefully that's what's happening here, is that the people, my hope is that our conversation and as this is getting out and reaching more people, we talk about the reach, these shows are getting thousands of people hearing it, or at least having access to, but what does it mean? Like,
Right.
How does it grow? Well, maybe
Time to get them engaged.
today it's going to reach one person that says, hey, I want to help. I want to be part of this. Like, I get what you guys are talking about. And if we weren't talking, there'd be nothing to get.
Right.
And so I think that maybe that's what's going on here, is I feel like there's like a call of leaders and leaders is a weird word, it's like people think, oh, I'm a leader, so I don't know, I'm wearing a hat and I've got a badge on me or something. No,
A leader is just somebody that does stuff. Like you do it, you do it. You just get out there and do it. That's all a leader is. And if the leader is just sitting there pointing, saying, do this, then they're not a leader. They're out there working if they're a leader.
Doers is probably a better term.
Yeah.
But if somebody's doing, then people are going to go, hey, I want to do what they're doing. And
Exactly.
then following. So then by nature, you become leading. So we're looking for doers.
Yes.
For people that aren't okay with the way things are, that, there's so many things wrong and there's so many people doing their own thing, but what if we all started doing it more together, and I just, it's like that, that Marley song, let's get together, it'll be all right, but what if we did that,
Right.
Well, it's like, it doesn't have to be just passing a joint and smiling and singing it without getting it, but what if we really got it and
Right.
one love, I mean, we could do that. And I think that's what we're doing. I really believe that we're bringing those mysteries, those realities, those truths that wise people before us have written about and sung about and shared, a message out loud that we carry with us. Most of the time we're not bothering to look at what we're carrying, we just sing a cool tune. But if you really listen to some of the good songs that are really good songs, there's some beautiful messages that we can bring to life.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about. That's our legacy.
This is definitely the time for action, the time for everybody getting together. There's going to be a great Zoom meeting. When will we be starting the Zoom meeting to allow people to come on?
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to organize this through our net or through the newsletter. And what we got to do is we're putting it all together. First thing's coming out is the newsletter. We have a Human Solution newsletter and a Walk for Change newsletter. And then from that, we're going to be creating a meeting time. And awesome. I think what we'll probably do is I got to learn how to do a bigger meeting, which Bobby will teach me, I'm sure, probably teach you as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that way we could have more than a few people on and have somebody be able to moderate that and bring people in and out as needed.
Right.
So I know that we have the capacity to do that. And I think once we make that a focal point, we begin it. There's this sort of balance between sort of broadcasting a public meeting and bringing in the right people to it.
Right.
So I think that's where the newsletter is going to come in and letting people know about it.
Gotcha.
And that way you don't have problem children coming in just to come in and be problem children. And
the trolls of Facebook.
Yeah, it's like it's disgusting that you even have to do that, right? I mean, they didn't monitor who came to Woodstock, but you know what?
Right.
It worked itself out because there was enough people there to work itself out.
Definitely need some serious, light-minded people wanting to get together with some other people that want to start working and getting stuff done. And there's things that maybe somebody over there that's not with us can think about that we haven't thought about that we can get done. And the only way we're going to find that out is if everybody gets together and starts talking about it.
Well, the coolest thing about these meetings, and this is one of these things that people that like pot like to hang out and talk. We just love to do that, right? I mean, we like to hang out and smoke some pot and talk about stuff. And I've heard some of the greatest ideas come out of a good session, right? You're sitting around a campfire and just passing a joint around and just talking. And I've seen some of the greatest ideas come out. But you know what generally doesn't happen?
You don't write it down. You don't remember.
It just poof goes away. But what if we were doing that in a setting where we were looking to capture some of that stuff and we had some that were willing to do some stuff? I think, again, if you create an environment for this, that creative conversation is where stuff bubbles out. We all have things that are important to us that we'd like to see. We all have ideas. Like, pot people are the most creative people I've ever met. Like what we can do, how many times that I've heard that in my life. You know what you can do? Well, I don't know. I bet you're going to tell me. So I'm hoping to bring, some of these creative ideas to bear. And, I've seen over the course of the last 10 years of working with the Human Solution, I've seen us grow as there was a cause that we gathered around, and we've always kind of grown and shrunk as needed. I'm just trying to get it to where everybody can recognize this cause as is important enough to get through. Now, one of the things we haven't talked about yet is we're in the process of coordinating some episodes of Walk for Change.
Yep.
I don't know, episodes of a show, I guess we'll call it. It'd be like a little miniature documentary, little miniature TV show, and we're going to be filming between 10 and 20-minute episodes that are going to be talking to people, talking about a very poignant, salient conversation that has to do in some way with the Walk for Change.
Right.
going to be mixing it up. It's not going to be any central host. We're going to be, one day it'll be you and me. One day it'll be you and Becca. One day it'll be Becca and Bobby. It'll just be the people that are working together, talking specifically about something that has to do with the Walk for Change and what might be the event itself. It might be some sponsor. It might be something that we need to walk for. You know, it might be a problem that we find ourselves facing. And we're going to be talking about it with a goal of solving whatever these problems are. Our goal is always going to be solution minded. And so we welcome people that don't share our viewpoint, because sometimes there's lots of ways to do things. And sometimes it's good to have somebody that says, you know, I don't know about that way, but there's this other way that maybe we could look at. So we're going to start filming these things this week. And before, hopefully the week's out, we'll have the first episodes that are going to be showcased on our Walk for Change YouTube channel, which this show right now is being showcased on.
Yes. And I believe when I looked today, we were at 76 subscribers. And I'll let everybody know to pass it on. I'm going to be putting the link in the comments after I get off of here, so they'll be able to find it.
Yeah, if you're listening to this show, and I know that there will be a bunch of thousand of you that do, we have a YouTube channel that if we can get over our little teeny hump of 100 sponsored or subscribers, it opens up tools that YouTube lets us do. And these are things that are going to help us to reach more people in more ways. You know, as we're sitting here talking, I just got a message from Dee Dee Kirkwood. Now, I don't know if you know Dee Dee or not, but Dee Dee is somebody who's been working with a lot of the prisoners, and she's specifically with Michael Thompson, who is in prison in Michigan for pot. Well, over the weekend, Michael Thompson, who's a diabetic, went into the hospital and he was really sick. They weren't giving him any care, and she was really afraid that he was going to die in the hospital. Well, as a result of all the work we're doing, this is all an accumulated collaboration of effort. And we've come in contact with Sheldon Neely, was a state senator. Now I don't know what he is now, but anyways, he's a representative, and he has some influence. And she was able to reach out to him, and as a result of that, he was able to see a physician today.
Oh, good.
So he's still alive, and hopefully we're working to get him out. But these things that are happening while everybody's whining about the cold, that might get your grandma. And
someone's in prison not getting their meds. Yeah, that's bullshit.
This affects people that are being locked up so dramatically. And if you've ever been locked up, which I have, it's a place to get sick. Like it is a hideous place. The air's not good. The food's not good.
Right.
You're crammed together. It is like a disease's paradise, right? And I'm surprised there isn't typhus in these places, because, and there probably is in some of them. But something like this is potentially a nightmare. And guess what? If this stuff gets inside some of these prisons, you know who's going to leave? The friggin' guards. And it's not going to go well. It's not going to be good for anybody. And
the federal government announced today that there were 2 positive tests in federal prison by federal guards.
Oh, great.
So this is something that affects a lot of people in a really bad way, and it's not a way that they can socially isolate themselves. They're stuck.
Yes.
And even if you were to be in solitary confinement, the air is recycled. Right. It's not a place where you can be away from anybody. And so there's potentially a giant time bomb going on in that system. And you know what? It wouldn't bother me so bad if violent, dangerous people were locked up.
Right.
We lock up everybody.
Exactly.
We especially lock up brown people, and we especially lock up poor people, and we especially lock up people that don't look the way we want them to look, or act the way we want them to act. And we like to lock up a lot of people. And I've been one of those people.
Yeah, you know? People don't understand that you can go to jail, like, for not having the money to pay a ticket. They're always like, oh, well, they're criminals, they belong in there. But no, a lot of them are not like criminals. They just couldn't afford the proper attorney.
Right.
Or, for instance, in Dallas, if you're walking down the street and you decide to walk in more than 10, you're a criminal, and you're going to you could go to jail if you can't pay that ticket. Like, people don't understand, it's not bad people in there. It's normal, everyday people that are suffering.
Well, at least there's way too many of them. And, one of the things people don't realize, we're kind of going all over the place here, but
I know, right?
It's all right. That's why we do these kind of podcasts, because we can go all over the place.
Exactly.
But one of the things people don't realize is, with our drug laws the way they are, it's an ant trap. And it's basically this, once they get their hooks into you, you're almost assuredly going to slide on down the hole and into the mouth of the ant lion that's down at the bottom. And what happens is you get picked up on some minor drug charge, and then they say, well, that's okay, we're just going to plead you out, and you'll do some probation, you'll be all right, you won't have to go to jail. So okay, sign away my rights, sign away my
Yep.
sign away everything, and not think that, well, one day they could just come in and inspect your house.
Yep.
Or you might be sitting next to somebody who you didn't realize was a felon. Or one day, whatever, you get pulled over and they run you, and holy shit, you're violated.
Right.
And guess what happens next? You're doing time. And there's a lot of people in there for probation violations.
Yes.
Didn't see that coming.
They say in Johnson County, go on vacation, leave on probation. That's what they say about this town.
I have heard that. And some people, the Human Solution has actually satisfied community service hours for at least 2 people that I know of that were picked up in Texas, had a case, and settled it with the stipulation that they had to move out of Texas and satisfy this many community service hours. And 2 people over the last 10 years, I personally signed off their hours for working with the Human Solution as a way to do that. But you're right. There's a lot of places in the world, or in the country especially, that are hostile with regards to their criminal justice system. And there's whole towns, even counties, that the total economy of a town and a county is relying upon a prison or a series of prisons. People
Right.
don't realize that. They call them a prison town, a prison city, and it's really that way, and imagine the economy that's built off of that. Us crazy activists call it a prison industrial complex. Well, guess what? It is that.
It is. It's all private too. Like, they get money for the amount of prisoners. They can't go under a certain amount. It's just ridiculous that it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a place that we put people who break laws, criminal laws against people. Like, it's not supposed to be just something that we send people because they're poor over there because they couldn't pay their damn ticket or whatever. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be this certain amount of number of people need to be in our jail this month, and we got to keep it at that number or we won't be able to stay open. It's a business. It's not a punishment. It's a business.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the reasons that we're walking, and it's not just for people that are locked up for pot, although that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Right.
I mean, I imagine our founding fathers who grew hemp as a crop. Imagine if you were to go back in time and tell them, hey, you know what's going to happen? Oh, this is Charles. Hang on a second.
You're good.
I've got to take that real quick.
Go right ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get Jeff to come on in. He's here waiting too, I think. So we'll get him to come on in right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Whoa. Hey, what's going on? How did that happen?
Boo.
Whoa. Amazing.
Sorry about that. Me and Joe got going and he got a phone call from Charles. So we're going to go ahead and bring you on. How are you doing today?
I think it's a good day to be contemplating some information about Michael Thompson. I just talked to Dee Dee, and she
Yes.
said Michael Thompson's been in jail for 25 years, and he can't really keep any water down. He's not feeling that well,
Oh,
and
no.
so we're gonna just be holding some light for Michael right now for him to get better.
Right. Yeah. Send good vibes Michael's way, y'all. I did hear that he is getting his medicine, gonna see a doctor. I did hear that. That good news.
He did all
Yeah.
that. He did all that. It's still stupid to be in jail.
It
and
is.
not to-
It
and not to be able
definitely.
to be home and with your grandmother's blanket and
Yes.
warm chicken soup.
No, I totally agree with you, Jeff. 100%. I know you made a movie about plant prisoners. Since we're on that subject, why don't we go ahead and let you tell our audience about it?
Hang on just a minute. I'm going to try to get you to another window here. I'm trying to, it got locked here. Exit full screen. There it is. So I'm going to bring it over here so I can look straight at you. There we go. Yeah,
Lifers.
And the movie is called Lifers Madness. This is an old poster, but a good one, and it's strong. And so I get to like, rah, 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 we're doing the walk. And, you know.
Awesome.
And so I tell 2 stories about prisoners in jail for pot and for 3 strikes and for any other reason that they got thrown in jail for medical, which the stupidest thing in the world is when they put a medical person in jail and they
Right.
kill all the medical in a lot of states, you know, because of money and all this stuff. It's just so many natural things, including weeds, like marijuana is, you know, can save the planet, heal
Right.
the soil and do this and that. But then when they put people in jail for that, it's unbelievably horrible. And it's not fair. It's
Right.
not fair. And so Tommy Chong is in my movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Tommy Chong is on the verge of becoming 80. He's 78 years old right now. And so that meant that he was young when he was doing Up in Smoke. And
Right.
they had the hemp car, and the police would pull them over and they'd blow smoke in their face. And then the cop would get all, woohoo, thank you. And now not only are we in lockdown, but
So,
Okay.
so
Charles is going to join us too, I believe.
yeah,
That
he's
is.
now. So I'm gonna go and say hi.
Hi.
All right.
so Tommy Chong was in jail for 9 months.
Wow.
And so he was in for selling bongs, his son's bongs, and advertising them. And that was that. And I asked him how it was in jail. And Tommy Chong said it was spiritual.
Wow.
So think about Michael Thompson in jail for 25 years.
I know,
Jeff
right?
Brzezinski, 21-9. George Monterano for 33 years. And all the other ones. I mean, if you ever get to meet Amy Pova from her Can Do Clemency, she'll hold up every single sign
Right.
with every prisoner. And that's
Yeah,
in
we
jail.
got Adam Fogelman, Lance Glore. Man, we got so many. Craig Cecil, Michael Tomlinson. There's so many of them out there. It's ridiculous.
Well, the hypocrisy, that's my new favorite word since January, is that some people before lockdown, before the dark state got a hold of the virus and we all have to stay home now,
Right.
they were making a lot of money at dispensaries, all these people. And they were growing a lot of bad pot that we didn't know if it was moldy or not, or sprayed with this or that. So our organic situation was different. And the bottom line is that they had a lot of money and none of them ever threw it our way to help the walk, to help Lifers Madness, a movie. And so it was the luck of the draw. A few people got in with a couple of celebrities, and they got their money and they got their parties and they had $1,000 dinners. It's just still all BS because nobody really knows what I know, because I've been in jail, not myself for pot. Well, I'm not going to really disclose that one. I was in for one night, but bottom line is that hush. But bottom line is that the hypocrisy is that these kids are making a lot of money, these humans, on our plant, and we can't legally grow hemp without being carefully, conducted.
Regulated.
And we
Yeah.
can't do medicine and paper. Just think about hemp toilet paper.
Yeah.
But our guys are in jail for this. And the
Yep.
people that are making millions selling bud, for recreation, not even medicine and PTSD, it pisses me off, the hypocrisy, why they can't even bank their money, and it's all at home. And that's why Lance Glore is in jail and for 10 years and blah, blah, blah. And his mom cries every day, Tracy and Jim.
Yes.
And so I think the hypocrisy is that we got to level out the playing field. So people like myself, people like yourself, and every time we do something, we wake up in the day. I used to make a really good living at photography, and then digital happened.
Right.
So if you think about what you need to make a day if you make a day, $1,000 a day, and there's not $1,000 a day. If you make $500 a day, that's a lot of money a year, but you're only working 5 days a week.
Right.
Okay? And so bottom line is that as an adult, we would be worth, what's your mechanic make now? $100 an hour, $90 an hour. What does a massage get? So it's out of proportion for the school, for the people, for the women versus the men in pay scale and pay rate. But look at these dispensary owners that are making millions and not helping us get our brothers and sisters home by throwing us the money so we can go to more prisons.
I totally agree with you. And that's why I've vowed not to make any money off of any cannabis products right now, because of the fact that there are so many out there right now in jail, lost their freedom. And I really love to work with companies like Go Green and Stash Box, and companies that are actually trying to work to get them free. You know what I mean? I try to stay as close with those kind of companies as I can, because they should be paying. You're right. They should be paying to help legalize it, since they're making so much money and they're able to speak to a good amount of people. You know what I mean? Every day they're coming into their office and get them to vote on certain things and stuff. If they're not working to change it, then that I really don't have nothing to do with that business,
Well, the hypocrisy is so huge. I won't call names, but I can't bring a Woody Harrelson. I can't bring a Jim Belushi. I mean, I can. I've met them all. I know them, but they are busy doing other things. So I'm not going to say boo-hoo to them, but some celebrities have started schools. They've donated $1 million for this and $1 million for that. Just think if somebody gave the walk $1 million,
Right.
and or $500,000 or $100,000,
or not even to give it to us, to give it to fight for legislation to change.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
is that if they would allow, if we would be able to, well, we have to end prohibition is the bottom line. And that's
Right.
what the Emperor Wears No Clothes, Jack Terror had going with his book that talked about paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, and food. And he would say that and scream it loud. And he says, why is there somebody in jail for something I did 5 minutes ago?
Right. It's horrible. It really is. We need to start letting those people out. And especially now, now's a great time to start letting some of them people out while there's a virus that may be threatening all their lives. They got a couple years for some pot, but it may end up being a death sentence because they're stuck in prison right now. You know what I mean? With this virus, they can't get away from it.
Well, somewhere, I don't know if it was Italy or Mexico or somewhere, they let all the prisoners out.
They need to let all the nonviolent ones out right now. Like the ones that are in there for some stupid drug crime, let them out. They didn't hurt nobody.
That would be so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. To just across the board, get all the nonviolent ones out. And see, the thing is that I think cannabis prisoners, we could get them all, we can get a name to most all of them, and evidently there's thousands of cannabis prisoners, but there's only 50 lifers.
Right.
But the system that is holding our lifers in prison.
Yeah, nobody should be in for life. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, without parole, and then murder 1 gets 12 years and murder 2 gets 14 years or 19 years. What? And
exactly.
rape? I mean, what?
It's crazy. I'm telling you, it is nuts. The way that some of these people get off with nothing. And then you see, like for instance, my son gets 6 years. I mean, come on, 6 years for some weed and some coke. It's like, come on, y'all. It's ridiculous, but hopefully he'll be getting out in a year.
Oh, we would love that. Yeah, we would love that. Well, I learn more about you every time I see you, you're growing on me.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you. Yeah, he's going to be 21 in October, and he's been in there 2 years now. On my birthday. My birthday is 2 years.
Is he with the adults or in a juvenile?
He's in prison for adults.
How dumb and stupid.
Yeah,
is
he's being made into a criminal, basically, is what happens with these young boys who get in there for some stupid pot charge, and then they end up coming out basically taught how to be a criminal. They have to live like that lifestyle in jail. They have to learn that. So
they get harder when they're soft human beings.
Right.
They get harder, and the hardness of jail is so incredibly. I'm so ashamed of that.
Right.
That paradigm. That's why I'm saying hypocrisy to the system that is making so much money, that we have 33 states legal for marijuana. And I mean, not just that it's a weed and anybody should and could be able to grow it. It's medicine.
Right. Heck yeah. I see Charles over there. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Oh, okay, I see. How you doing so far? How's the show?
Doing great. Doing really good. I can't wait. We're going to have Charles on next month. I think it was the 16th. Oh, don't quote me on that though. But I can't wait to be able to talk to you. So how are you doing? What all are you doing today?
Oh,
With Joe?
so we came up to meet with Joe, and then we're looking at the property. It's amazing complex here.
Heck yeah.
Plants, the medicine plants, those are vital to the nutrition that everyone's working on. So how about you? How you doing? And are you getting ready for the walk coming up?
Oh yes, always getting ready. Yes, and we're doing great. We're just trying to, be healthy and stay good, and
Yep.
definitely looking forward to the walk and looking forward to everything. I know that you started a new indigenous human solution international called The People. So I would definitely tell any of the listeners right now, get a hold of me if you would like to get a hold of Charles and learn more about that.
10 seconds. Ooh.
So excited to have you part of the family, Charles.
I'm really, really pleased and happy that we all connect so well, and we're all united on the same causes for the same purpose. And you guys are doing really remarkable work. So a big thank you out to you in Texas and really the whole network.
Oh,
And
thank you.
amazing,
Thank you.
really amazing work. So we're all working together, and let's unify.
Definitely, definitely. Unity is the key here. We got to get everybody going down the same. We're not all going to agree on everything, but we can find that one thing that we can all agree on, you know?
Yeah. Oh, burn the sage. It kills the coronavirus.
Yes, sage, white sage, y'all.
Yeah, white sage. Burn it inside your house. Cleanse yourself, your family, your interior surfaces, and the air.
Absolutely.
I was talking to Joe the other day about where I needed to go to get some of that. I still got to figure it out around here because we don't have.
We just picked, my daughter's rolling up some sage sticks. So once they dry, we'll send you some.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to get going, and a pleasure always to be part of your show.
Yes, definitely. Y'all have a great time.
Charles, my name is Jeffrey. Look at the sage that was just given to me.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
the mother of all sage
Yeah.
sticks.
It's got lavender in there, and it's got sweetgrass.
Wow. That has got
That's
everything.
badass.
Oh yeah, that's the unifier.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the big wampum stick. that
My name is Jeffrey. My name is Jeffrey. I'm in Washington State.
awesome.
I'm up with the tribes up here, and I work with the canoe journey.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Heck yeah,
Excellent.
y'all need to get together and talk how to unify all those. That's what we're trying to do. Get them all unified.
That's it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a concert on Saturday at 7:30
Joe.
online, and Smoka Jane is gonna be on, and she's gonna do a live concert with 420 Music on my channel.
Yeah.
I'll pass the word for everybody.
Heck yeah.
She does 420 Music. She's rocking.
Cool deal. Oh yeah. So by Charles Vargas, I was with Apache Nation, and Joe Grumbine with the Human Solution International. I'm going to go ahead and continue to talk to Jeff for a minute. Ask y'all, Jeff, how do they get a hold of your movie? Where do they go look at it if they want to see it? The Lifers.
Here, I'll give you a. It's at lifersthemovie.com.
Awesome.
And that's it, lifersthemovie.com. And you can watch my movie for free. I was just accepted into the Cannabis Film Festival in New York last week.
Wow.
And so we're going to do that and show my film there for the first time. So I'm really excited about that. And I don't do too many film festivals. I'd rather be, get ready to go to Netflix and get ready to do this.
Right.
But we need some big boys and girls to step in and to help us raise the awareness. It's just so incredible. If you want, I can share my screen and show your people the 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, let me find it first. Keep asking me questions and I'll go find it here.
My next thing is, what is it that you do? What area are you in, and what are you doing for the cannabis community in your area, and how can people get a hold of you to be able to help?
People can get a hold of me through my website, through lifersthemovie.com. And I am, hang on, let's see here if I got a trailer here. Trailer. Let's see. How long is this trailer? Okay. We'll try this one here. Let's see here. Boom. Boom. Okay, we'll try this one here. So we're going to go, I'm going to share my screen with you. You can get in touch with me with my website, Lifers Madness. I mean, that's the name of my movie, lifersthemovie.com. But we're not closed during Corona. Corona is just something that it's going to be amazing to see how we come out of this, and I know a lot of our shows are about talking about it, but it is amazing. I don't know how the dispensaries are going to happen. If it's down a long time, a lot of the pot that's in the dispensaries are going to be you know, getting old, and nobody likes to buy old pot. So, you know, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. This is one trailer. I don't know which it is, but they're all good. So I'm going to play my trailer now, everybody. I'm
Awesome.
going to share this with you all. And so now you can see my, I'm going to open this with QuickTime. Boom. And come on, QuickTime. Here it comes. We're going to go all the way. There we go. And here we go.
Song for Lifers, the movie.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for coming today. Thank you for giving people like me a voice. This is Kristen for Lifers, the movie. Free the people, free the planet.
The first thing we advocate for, number one, you just got to just stop from one drugs. Just stop fighting it and prohibition. At the end of the day, they need to be centered first in education and health, not criminal justice.
I don't think nonviolent criminals should be locked up. Give them probation, community service.
The end destination is not reform, but it is really transformation.
Yes.
And that transformation means that we create a new kind of world in which the racialized hierarchy, the ways in which capital is used to disempower people as opposed to providing people with the quality of life that we all deserve, has got to be the end destination.
Certainly, I'll never be the same again. You know, it's hard for me to relate to any normalcy, but as a man, you know, I won't let you see that.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
This is us at the White House.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
If you want to grow roses, if you want to grow caladiums, nobody has a problem with that. So where did this concept originate that our government could stop us from freely associating with a plant that God put here for our benefit? And so I've fought to change these laws for more than 4 decades now.
Spending this time in prison means getting that done, and then it'll all be worth it.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers. Madness.
Something happened in
That's it, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing that with us. It looks like it's a pretty badass movie for a good cause. And
I didn't know how to do that stuff. I didn't know how to do that shit 4 years ago. And I took one camera and a microphone and went around and I edited because I watched TV my whole life and I know how to like do this, you know.
Right.
And I learned more and more about it. And that's what I need. I need a production company to help me now that I know how to go into prisons, inside prisons, and I know how to get all these people together, you know, they're all articulate and they're all in jail. And so what we're doing now is I'm finishing up a compilation album, and we have De La Soul and we have Naco and we're courting some other high powered musicians. And like I said, Smoka Jane, formerly Smokahontas, but I didn't want to say that to the natives, but Smoka Jane, we changed her name for that reason. So we're compliant. We're doing an album, a compilation album, and we're gonna give every prisoner that comes home $30,000 for food and shelter from the sale of the album.
Awesome. Well, that's badass. How are they going to find that? Do you know, it's not ready yet? Whenever it is.
No, it's not ready yet, and we're going to. Well, you know, 420 is like in a few weeks. My birthday is April 2nd. You know, so next week. And
well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. But the bottom line is that we're going to totally just be on schedule, and it'll be on my site. Just keep coming back and checking in with me, or I'll come back on your show when we do we launch the album.
Yeah, whenever it's ready, let me know and we'll get you back on here and get everybody. And I'll definitely share it too when it comes out. So y'all just stay tuned. We'll let you know. Well, awesome, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on board. Thank you so much for all your help with Walk for Change and everything you're doing to let people know about the prison system and what's going on at the lifers that we have in jail for pot. And just thank you for all the stuff that you're doing. I know it's a little bit past 9 o'clock and Bobby is probably got a night to get done. And Jason's got to go to work here soon. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But thank you y'all all so much for coming on and for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much. Hemp Hooray.
Yes, Hemp It Parade. Awesome. Well, thank you all very much for joining us today. And I will be back next Monday. We've got some amazing guests coming up. So y'all stay tuned. Love y'all. Peace.